Internal audits, not the most popular program within a quality management system at any particular company, but it doesn't have to be. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. My name is Troy, and I'm the founder of Brewster Integrated Solutions. With over 20 years experience, I partner with small to medium-sized businesses to provide them operations and quality management support with a focus on ISO 9001, ISO 13485, and FDA CGMP, particularly 21 CFR Part 820 requirements. In this video, I'm going to share with you my best practices based on my experience on conducting internal audits and how they don't have to be this doom and gloom, oh no, here comes quality to wrap me up on a bunch of things that I have to fix. Internal audits do not have to be difficult and cumbersome. Internal audits have this perception that it's quality coming in to just find everything that's wrong with a process. And that's not the case, which is why there's usually this underlying apprehension to a department being audited to be relaxed and more forthcoming about sharing their process. I think that a lot of times it's how a quality auditor approaches it that establishes and builds that apprehension. Be nice, be relaxed, and don't go in ready to drop a hammer down. The internal audit program is very important in a quality management system, as its purpose is to identify issues before they become a problem and identify issues before an external auditor, like a customer audit or an ISO audit or an FDA inspection, before they find it. Internal audits should always be seen as part of your continuous improvement program. And it's up to the quality department to be a partner with operations to identify those gaps and deficiencies and proactively fix them before something breaks or before they get found by an external auditor. I'm not going to dive into internal audit methodology, internal audit history, or why it's a requirement. If you would like me to do a much bigger tutorial on the internal audit process, internal audit programs, requirements, the process as an internal auditor, let me know in the comments, and that is something that I can do in a future video. Of course, as with any internal audit, the auditor should always do their prep work. Whatever department or group that you are auditing, gather the applicable documents, procedures, work instructions, protocols, forms, whatever is applicable to what you're auditing, and familiarize yourself with them before you conduct the audit. The best advice I can give based on my experience when performing an internal audit is start with this. Walk me through your process. Walk me through your procedure. Show me your process. Show me your procedure. In my experience, it instantly lowers the resistance and apprehension to the internal audit. Don't immediately come in and say, show me this, this, and this. What do you do here? What do you do there? That immediately puts up the resistance. Taking the walk me through your process approach, in my experience, has a more conversational flow to it. When you start with a walk me through your process approach, then you can start from the beginning of the process with your applicable documentation that you printed out beforehand, and the auditee can walk you through what the process is step by step. At that point, if you are finding potential deficiencies or potential issues, don't say, oh, that's wrong or that's not right. Approach it like, based on what you're telling me and comparing it to what it says in your procedure, there seems to be a misalignment, and give the auditee an opportunity to respond, because it's entirely possible they may not be articulating that particular step within the process that well. as you're continuing to walk through the process, that also gives you opportunities to ask additional questions that if you're told, we do this step and then we document it here, then that gives you an opportunity to go, can I see a record of that task being performed? Or can you show me a document that's in process? If you're doing an internal audit on the production floor, doing the process walkthrough and having the auditee explain the process, especially if there are certain instruments or tools or machines being used, that also gives you an opportunity to verify calibration and maintenance records. And that also gives you an opportunity to ask a follow-up question on calibration and or maintenance process. If you're going down the path where you are potentially identifying a non-conformance, be sure to be upfront and forward with that. The best approach is to say, here's what I'm seeing as a non-conformance, and here's why. It should never be a mystery as to why you are writing up a non-conformance. You should always be clear and concise and support your non-conformance claim with the applicable objective evidence. It's also important to let the auditee or auditees know that when you're done with the audit, that doesn't mean that you as an auditor have wiped your hands clean of that audit. Let them know that you are also there to help them work through the applicable corrections and corrective actions needed to resolve those non-conformances. That builds trust and credibility that you are not just the quality police going in and hammering a department or group on their process and why you think it's all wrong. It's important as a quality person to be a partner to the business and to the operation. It's also really important that a quality person has at least a broad general knowledge or understanding of the process that they are auditing so that they can work with the group to resolve the issues. I wish I could sit here and ramble on about internal audits and all the things you should do. But actually, I don't wish I could ramble on. That's no fun for anybody. But really, that walk me through your process most of the time is all you need to start an internal audit and to have a good internal audit. A simple walk me through your process approach is pretty much all you need to perform any internal audit, regardless of the department or the group or the process that you're auditing, because it opens up so many paths that you can go down. I'll also note, if an external audit happens, whether it's customer, ISO, or FDA inspection, and they identify a non-conformance or potential non-conformance within that process that you did an internal audit of and are in the process of making those corrections, you can present that to the external auditor and they will not write you up for that non-conformance because you've already identified it and are working on resolving it. Now, they may ask to see what your corrective actions are that are in process, but they will not write you up. At least they should not write you up. If they do, to me, that's a bad auditor because you've already identified the gap and you are actively working to resolve it. Keep internal audits to about an hour. This is not an ISO audit. This is not an FDA inspection. This is not a customer audit. You don't want to prevent a department from getting whatever work they need to get done at that particular time. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful and informative. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and especially comment if there are subjects you would like me to cover in future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.